Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and then talk about what's good or bad about them. We are brought to you by Contagious this week, which is very exciting. They're going to be our partner for the next 8 episodes. So thanks to those guys. And they've actually chosen our ad today, which is very interesting. And I feel slightly out of control, but that's fine. But that's about me. Let's meet this week's guests.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dessi. I'm an area sales manager for Volkswagen. But before that, I've also worked in social media for Nissan and marketing as well for Volkswagen, as well as done some work with Unilever in my earlier days.
Hi, I'm Olly, Rzysko. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Mahabis. We sell amazing slippers all around the world, but I'm also founder of Good Candles, which is the business I set up to shake up a £2 billion industry, which is quite dull and boring. And we make things like this, and we give 10% of those sales to great causes to make people's lives better. I've been in retail marketing since I was about 20. Previously at Primark, and have since worked with lots of different retailers trying to make good things happen, but particularly in digital.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. So we are going to look at an ad today, as I say, chosen by Contagious. But is it an ad? I'm not really sure. Anyway, let's have a look. Dessi, what was your first reaction to that when you saw it?
I was surprised a little bit because you see Ikea, you think it's going to be an ad for like home design or furnishing or some sort of emotive sentiment about people's homes, especially the fact that we spent the last year at home. So it's kind of a very clever way, I think, for Ikea to like weave itself into a topical theme of cooking, especially in the last year, you know.
I'm a bit biased because I'm an Ikea fan. I really like what they do. I hadn't seen this before, but I know that their play on sustainability has been growing stronger and stronger. So I think it was unique that they took that approach with making that book as such, particularly as they've kind of backed away from the catalogue and they're trying to be more digitally focused.
Is this just signaling about sustainability, talking about sustainability?
It's not just talking, it is about doing, but it's also getting others to do. If you think about it, IKEA is probably one of the companies that started sustainability way back before it was a thing. Maybe not for sustainability's sake, just for like ease of transportation, cost efficiency, all the rest of it. But if you think about their packaging, the way they manufacture materials, the way they transport them, they're more sustainable than a lot of manufacturers who started thinking about sustainability 10 years ago when it became a big thing.
And I think the one thing that I don't think was obvious, obviously it came up at the end, the fact you could just download it for free was quite interesting. And I don't think it was necessarily overly clear that you could do that straight off the bat. I think when you bring that together with how that could be experienced on their website, when you look at sustainable kitchen products, for example, or when you go to the store and that those graphics, images, etc., are presented in that kitchen environment where you're going to be buying a kitchen, I think that's when it really comes into play as a full 360 piece of work, not just a one-off video.
Is it big enough? And how does this scale? How do we make this very niche pursuit of recycling your banana peel to make chocolate cake into something that's mainstream, that's really going to do the job for the brand?
So I think that from that angle, as you say, it is quite big, and maybe actually it's too big. Maybe actually just seeing one thing being turned into something good would be much more interesting and actionable. If you want your audience to take an action on recycling banana peel, maybe you need to be more focused on that rather than a very, very broad, like take all the waste stuff and make something with it, because it feels quite impenetrable. Do I have to keep everything, and then when I'm ready, I can get the old bananas out and the old broccoli out, and then make like? But the practical side of that, that's where IKEA becomes really interesting, because it's a really practical, design-led business, right? And I like the book, you know, but I was like, well, what do I do now?
But I kind of don't think this was their point. I don't think they all of a sudden wanted to make us all cook with all of our waste or just never throw anything out. I think it was the message and the fact that they're now in this arena and they're making you think about stuff like this. I think it's about starting the conversation and obviously creating a little bit of brand engagement. That's why they're doing all this stuff on social afterwards. It's not necessarily like that every person who downloads the book or watches the stuff on Instagram is going to necessarily do all the 50 recipes or however many they are. I think that's not their goal. Food
waste, for example, from when I looked into this, this is like a massive issue in Canada. It's like a huge issue. I think something like half of their food is wasted, right, for various different reasons. So the government have got a very big approach to address food waste. So this messaging in that country would be really relevant, because the audience is tuned into the fact that food waste is an issue in where we live.
They could have done a little bit before the ad, though. They could have thought, how can we use our kind of inherent IKEA ingenuity and practicality to help people stop buying as much food that then goes to waste? Something around the lines of, okay, we're not going to buy 20 kilos of food this week and throw out 10. We're going to buy 12 kilos of food this week and hopefully the whole of it. And if something is left, then make a recipe with the stuff, but not necessarily like, because do you know what I mean? Because they're trying to solve the problem after the problem's already happened, as opposed to, should we try to solve the root cause? That could be something to look into from IKEA's practical nature.
So it's interesting. So you're saying it like prevention better than cure. And it also made me think that IKEA are trying to create behavior change. IKEA are trying to create something different happening internally, mentally, to then make a change on the outside world, which is really, really difficult. I mean, we know as marketing people how hard and how much media money you have to spend to make people think differently about a category or a product. But to change behavior, which is like not just throw all those stinky banana peels in the bin, but actually turn them into a smoothie or cake or whatever it was. Do you think, Olly, that is this even possible with a book like this, no matter how beautifully it's been done?
I think behaviour change is tough, but obviously in the past, historically, whether it be about design or about furniture, and maybe they want to play into this space. Maybe they've got a much longer tail on this and they've got other things that they're doing, because they've done a lot around like garden and recycling and all these kind of different elements. You know, there might be that there's something much bigger at play here for them.
So to finish off, Dessi, what is the thing that brands should be taking from this piece of work from IKEA? How
do brands engage with customers, not just to sell their products, but to get them on the sustainability journey because for brands, it's important for various different reasons. One of which, CSR, brand image, public image, government pressures, laws, regulations, blah, 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 blah. But individually for the people, we don't have these pressures. So unless we are inspired, educated, encouraged to do it through the brands that we interact with on a daily basis, we probably don't think about it as much. So I think that's the key takeaway for me.
I just missed that humour that I always see with IKEA. And it's not a laugh or a lol, those awful sort of trying to be wacky bits. They're just kind of a little smile to their adverts that I just kind of missed from that. It didn't quite cut through for me, but it was still a really, smart play from them. And I think in store, you'll see that come alive.
Thanks for joining us, guys. And we will see you all next week.